We lock our homes to keep them safe. We protect our phones with passwords to guard our privacy. But how many of us actually protect our souls before stepping into places tainted by darkness? The reality is, some places aren't just heavy in their atmosphere, they are heavy by nature. They've been drenched in sins, black magic, or evil whispers for so long that even the angels avoid them. Yet many still walk in with a smile, only to leave wondering why everything in their life suddenly feels off. They chalk it up to anxiety, a bad dream, or a wave of sadness that came from nowhere. But in truth, it didn't come from nowhere. It came from somewhere. In Islam, Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, didn't just warn us about people. They warned us about places. Places that invite jinn, nurture seer, and spiritually stain anyone who enters them without protection. So today, we're not talking about entertainment, we're talking about exposure, the kind that ruins peace, poisons du'as, and chokes barakah before it even begins. These are 5 places you should never step into casually, because even if you leave the room, some rooms don't leave you. Let's begin. Place number 1. Abandoned houses and ruins. It starts with curiosity. Maybe you were just walking by, or maybe someone said, "Let's go check it out." It's just an old place. No one lives there. The door creaks, the walls are cracked, and yet something about it feels alive. In today's world, we romanticize these places. People take selfies in broken buildings, film vlogs inside haunted ruins, teens dare each other to step inside for fun. But spiritually, these aren't just empty shells. According to Islamic teachings, abandoned places are often dwellings for jinn, and when humans enter them without protection, without saying Bismillah, without understanding what they're stepping into, they expose themselves to what they can't see. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us not to stay overnight in places like ruins or deserted shelters. These aren't just stories, they're signs that the things we call creepy or vibe killers are actually places where angels don't enter and jinn roam freely. And here's where it gets more real. Ever gone into a place and suddenly felt like your chest got tight, your heart started racing, or you left feeling mentally foggy or emotionally off for no reason? That's not just imagination. That's a sign you entered a space you weren't meant to be in. But let's push it further. What if the moment you stepped inside, you became a visitor in their territory? What if your anxiety wasn't biological but spiritual? That house you explored for fun, that vlog you filmed for content, that space you mocked with jokes. Maybe it heard you, maybe it marked you, because some places don't need to speak to ruin you, they just need you to stay long enough to let the wrong things follow you home. So here's the uncomfortable truth most people never want to admit. You don't need to believe in something for it to believe in you. Some viewers watching this have already been to one of these places, and ever since then, things haven't felt the same. You don't sleep the same. You don't think the same. Your chest stays heavy, your energy stays low, and your du'as feel blocked. But you didn't connect the dots. You thought it was just stress, just burnout, just life. But what if it wasn't? What if that abandoned house wasn't empty at all? Don't call it a vibe. Don't laugh it off. Some places are empty for a reason. And if Allah made it easy to avoid, maybe that was already a form of protection. Place number 2. Graveyards, where shirk is practiced. Not all graveyards are the same. Some carry peace, others carry weight, and some carry the whispers of shirk, where people go to graves not to pray for the dead, but to pray to them. In Islam, the grave is a place of silence, reflection, and dua for the deceased, not through them. But across the world, there are places where graves have become shrines and people commit major sins thinking they're doing something holy. Let's be honest, it doesn't always look like shirk. Sometimes it's just a man sobbing beside a grave, begging the one buried to fix his life. Sometimes it's a mother whispering her pain into the soil, hoping her child's grave will intercede. But that's the trick of emotional darkness. It always wears the mask of sincerity. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Do not make your houses graves, and do not make my grave a place of festivity, but invoke blessings on me, for your blessings reach me wherever you may be." And he warned us clearly that the worst people are those who turn graves into places of worship. Because when you mix pain with desperation, you stop asking Allah and start asking His creation. And here's the hidden layer. Many of these graveyards where shirk is practiced are not just spiritually corrupt. They become hubs for seer. People bury tawiz, leave hair, drip blood, whisper spells between stones. You thought it was just a visit, a cultural tradition, a story your grandmother used to tell, but some people walk into these places and never spiritually recover. They go in hoping for help and come back with something attached. You don't feel it at first, but suddenly your sleep changes, your risk dries up, your joy disappears. And no matter how many du'as you make, it's like something is sitting between you and the sky. The solution? Protect your tawhid. Respect the grave, but never elevate it. Love the righteous, but never worship them. And always remember, what you call a prayer could be a poison if it's not directed to Allah. There's no barricade in desperation if it makes you forget who your Rabb is. And there's no healing in places that require you to kneel to anyone but Him. Place number 3. Marketplace corners where evil is traded. Silently. Most people think seer, black magic, only happens in the dead of night, in the middle of nowhere, by people dressed like horror movie characters. But the most dangerous kind happens in daylight, right next to the fruit stand. In some countries, entire markets have become secret trade hubs for seer. Behind one counter, you'll find perfume. Behind another, you'll find talismans tied in red thread, inked with foreign symbols. And when you ask what it is, the seller smiles and says, "Just for love, just for protection, just for luck." But you don't realize that what you just touched is someone else's destruction. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ warned us that sihr is one of the 7 deadly sins. And in many marketplaces around the world, it's being sold like candy. You think you're browsing, but in reality you're surrounded by the tools of darkness, spells written on paper, whispers mixed into oils, cursed objects wrapped as gifts, and the scariest part, you might not even know you bought something dangerous until your peace is gone, your sleep is disturbed, and your home feels cold, even with the lights on. What most people don't know is that jinn and magicians operate like a business. There's demand, there's supply, and there are locations. Yes, there are places where curses are traded like currency. People pay to destroy marriages, freeze risk, make someone love them, or ruin their health. And many of these places are hiding in plain sight, near your neighborhood, on the way to your job, or inside that old market your family's visited for years. But here's the forbidden truth. Some markets don't sell products. They sell people, spiritually. They sell your name, your mother's name, your trust, your peace, your dignity, all wrapped in a spell written by someone you'll never meet, cast by someone who doesn't even believe in Allah. And if that sounds too dark to be real, that's exactly why it works. Because no one dares to talk about it. So the next time you stroll through a market and someone offers you something special, don't just check the price tag. Check your faith, because what looks like a souvenir could be a spiritual sentence, and what sounds like a joke could be the reason you stopped waking up for Fajr. Always remember, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Whoever goes to a soothsayer and believes what he says has disbelieved in what was revealed to Muhammad." You don't have to buy it to be harmed. Sometimes you just have to be near it. Protect your heart, and when you feel something is wrong, leave, even if you don't understand why. That instinct might be Allah saving you from something you weren't meant to see, because you can always buy a new item, but you only get one soul. Place number 4. Secret rooms in certain spiritual healing centers. It starts innocently. You're going through something. Maybe your health is off. Maybe your marriage is falling apart. Maybe you just feel blocked. And someone tells you about a healer, a guy with a long beard, a woman with spiritual gifts, a place with Quranic calligraphy on the walls, soft lights and incense in the air. You walk in thinking you're entering a place of healing, but what if that center was never built to heal you at all? Here's a bitter truth no one talks about. Not every place that quotes the Qur'an is safe. Behind many Islamic healing centers are secret rooms where real harm is done, where jinn are summoned, not expelled, where fake rakis perform rituals that look Islamic on the outside but are rooted in seer, grave worship, or straight-up deceit. And the worst part? They mix the truth with lies so cleverly that even strong believers can't tell the difference. Maybe they ask for your name and your mother's name, a major red flag. Maybe they tie a cloth around your arm with symbols and say, "Don't remove it for 7 days." Maybe they hand you a bottle of water and whisper in a language that isn't Arabic, then say it's ruqya. You feel uneasy, but they smile and say, "Trust me, this is powerful." Yes, it is powerful, but not from Allah. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Whoever seeks healing through something unlawful, Allah will not place healing in it." And too many of these centers use Islam like a mask, quoting ayahs while calling on jinn, reciting verses while hiding shirk, and manipulating vulnerable souls who came looking for hope. Let's go deeper. Some of these rooms, hidden behind velvet curtains or locked behind old doors, are where things happen that would horrify you. Animals sacrificed, spells written, dolls pierced, clothes of past clients stored, all under the name of healing. And if you think this only happens in poor villages or obscure towns, think again. These places exist in cities, in suburbs, in apartment complexes, behind halal wellness labels and energy healer accounts with thousands of followers. Because when spirituality becomes a business, the devil signs the lease. So ask yourself, if it's really from Allah, why does it feel like something's hiding? Why the secrecy? Why the coded language? Why the rituals that don't exist in the Sunnah? The Qur'an is shifa, real ruqya is clear. And if you ever feel like your body is reacting in pain, your instincts are screaming, or your mind starts to fog in those spaces, leave immediately. Don't wait for logic to explain what your soul already senses, because the most dangerous trap is the one that uses Allah's name while disobeying Him. So before you let anyone touch your head, whisper in your ear, or place anything under your pillow, ask yourself one question. Would the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ recognize this practice, or would he warn me to run? Place number 5. Cinemas, clubs, and concert halls. No one likes to hear this, but the truth doesn't ask for permission. And in today's world, we've built entire buildings, not for healing, not for worship, not even for rest, but for sin. Places that are designed top to bottom to distract you from Allah, where zina is normalized, where vulgarity is entertainment, where drugs are consumed like candy, where bodies are exposed and hearts are emptied. You walk into these places thinking you're escaping boredom, but often you're walking straight into a spiritual trap. These halls, whether it's a cinema with a screen blasting filth, a club echoing with music and bodies moving without shame, or a concert where the energy feels more demonic than divine, are not spiritually neutral. They carry weight, they leave stains, and you don't walk out the same. Ever noticed how after a concert or club night, the soul feels heavier? Salah becomes harder, dua feels dry, the Qur'an sounds distant. It's not a coincidence, it's a consequence. And if you think this only applies to extreme cases, think again. Even the subtle exposure to music that glorifies sin, to visuals that degrade dignity, slowly reshapes the soul. One laugh at haram, one tear at a haram love story, one cheer at a line mocking Islam. Bit by bit, the fitra becomes numb. And it's not just about what's shown, it's what's absent. No one remembers Allah in these places. No one prays, no one does dhikr, no one lowers their gaze when the entire atmosphere is built to feed the nafs and silence the soul. Who do you think rules that space? Jinn roam in crowds where shamelessness thrives. Shayateen whisper louder when hearts are distracted. And when you leave, those whispers follow you home, into your bedroom, into your dreams, into your next arguments, into your next sins. These places become spiritual parasites. They give you 2 hours of thrill and take away 2 weeks of barakah. And even when the movie is clean or the music sounds harmless, ask yourself, would your soul feel proud to be recorded in that moment on the day of judgment? So before you follow the neon lights and the booming speakers, pause. Because sometimes the most dangerous places are the ones that are trending on your feed. And if you want Allah to protect your heart, protect the doors you walk through. Because every space you enter leaves a trace inside you. It's easy to forget how much spiritual damage can come from the places we enter, but the truth is, some doors don't just lead into buildings, they lead into battles. Battles against unseen forces, against whispers, against darkness that follows you home. But Allah never leaves His servant without protection. Allah gave us Surah Al-Baqarah, a fortress. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Do not turn your homes into graves. Indeed, Shayatin does not enter the house in which Surah Al-Baqarah is recited." Allah gave us Ayat al-Kursi, a shield. Allah gave us the last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah and the last 3 surahs, Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq and An-Nas, as weapons of light in a world growing darker. So if you've ever stepped into a place and felt something wasn't right, if you've walked out of a building and your heart felt heavy, your dua felt distant, or your sleep was filled with restlessness, don't ignore it. Your soul knows what your eyes can't see. Fill your home with Qur'an. Recite the morning and evening adhkar. Make wudu before bed. Avoid the doors of sin. And above all, never place your trust in amulets, rituals, or human healers, because real protection doesn't come from strings, symbols, or secret words. It comes from tawakkul, from trusting Allah alone. When your connection with Him is strong, no jinn, no spell, no darkness can overpower you. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Be mindful of Allah, and He will protect you." Consider this a reminder, a wake-up call, and an opportunity to purify your path before moving forward. If you're truly committed to seeking protection, leave this dua in the comments. Ya Allah, shield me from all the unseen evils. If this video has made you reflect, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, like it, and subscribe for more impactful reminders. Until we meet again, stay protected, stay vigilant, and stay close to Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.